I met Ricky probably
Ricky
before.
Skaggs.
Ricky Skaggs.
Yeah.
He sang a little part on that along with Patti Love.
Vince Gill is more than just a country singer. He's a storyteller, a craftsman, and a man whose voice has comforted millions through love, faith, and heartbreak. Behind his smooth vocals and countless awards lies a deeply human story, one marked by personal pain, family struggles, and moments of grace that shaped who he is today. In this heartfelt journey, we'll explore how Vince rose from a small-town dreamer to one of country music's greatest legends, how joining the Eagles changed his life forever, and the heartbreaking moments that left lasting scars on his soul. Early roots, a small-town boy with a big dream. Vince Gill was born on April 12, 1957 in Norman, Oklahoma, a modest town that would eventually produce one of the most soulful voices in country music history. His father, J. Stanley Gill, was a lawyer by profession, but a passionate musician at heart. In the evenings, the sound of his father's banjo and guitar would fill their home, wrapping young Vince in melodies that would one day become his destiny. His mother, Jareen Gill, was the glue of the family, a supportive, nurturing figure who encouraged Vince to chase his dreams no matter how distant they seemed. Music wasn't just a hobby for Vince, it was his lifeline. He learned to play the guitar and banjo as a child, mastering the basics by watching his father and listening to bluegrass records. By high school, he was already performing in local bands, including the bluegrass group Mountain Smoke, where he learned to mix country harmonies with the growing influence of rock. That fusion would later become his trademark sound. A rising star, from bluegrass to rock and beyond. After high school, Vince made the bold move to leave Oklahoma and pursue music full-time. His big break came in 1978 when he joined the soft rock band Pure Prairie League. As their lead singer, he helped shape their sound and delivered one of their biggest hits, Let Me Love You Tonight. The experience gave him the confidence and exposure he needed to step out on his own. By the mid-1980s, Vince had set his sights on Nashville, the beating heart of country music. It wasn't easy at first. His early solo albums under RCA Records didn't achieve major success, but Vince never gave up. His persistence paid off when he signed with MCA Nashville in 1989 and released the album When I Call Your Name. The title track became a career-defining hit and marked the beginning of his rise to stardom. Throughout the 1990s, Vince Gill was unstoppable. He topped the Billboard country charts multiple times with songs like I Still Believe in You, One More Last Chance, and Trying to Get Over You. His collaborations with other country greats, including Reba McEntire, further solidified his place in the genre. Every record he touched turned to gold or platinum. By the end of the decade, he had amassed 22 Grammy Awards, making him the most awarded male country artist in Grammy history. A call from the Eagles, a new chapter begins. In 2017, life handed Vince Gill a moment he could never have imagined. One afternoon, he received a call from Irving Azoff, the manager of the Eagles, one of the most iconic rock bands of all time. Vince answered calmly, unaware that the next few words would change his life forever. The Eagles wanted him to join the band. For Vince, it was surreal. The Eagles were his heroes, the soundtrack of his youth. But this wasn't just an invitation, it was also a request to fill a role left by Glenn Frey, one of the founding members who had passed away in 2016. Frey's absence was deeply felt, not just by fans but by his bandmates. Replacing him seemed impossible. At first, Vince hesitated. He respected Glenn too much to simply take his place. But when Don Henley, the Eagles' co-founder and guiding force, personally expressed that he believed Vince could honor the band's legacy while keeping Glenn's spirit alive, Vince felt humbled. He realized this wasn't about replacement, it was about continuation. He accepted the invitation, stepping into a legacy built on timeless songs like Take It to the Limit and Tequila Sunrise, walking in Glenn Frey's shadow. Joining the Eagles wasn't easy. Vince had been a solo artist for decades, used to creative freedom and full control. Now he was part of a tightly knit group with its own history, rhythm, and expectations. The challenge wasn't just musical, it was emotional. Fans were divided. Some welcomed him with open arms, while others doubted anyone could stand where Glenn Frey once stood. Vince didn't try to imitate Glenn. Instead, He approached each performance with humility, singing and playing guitar with respect for the band's legacy. Over time, audiences began to feel that sincerity. His voice added warmth to classics like New Kid in Town and Peaceful Easy Feeling, bringing new life to the band's live shows. Still, behind the stage lights, Vince often wrestled with insecurity. He once admitted that the pressure of living up to fans' expectations sometimes felt overwhelming. Yet it was Don Henley's reassurance that kept him grounded, a quiet reminder that Vince was chosen not to replace Glenn, but to help carry his spirit forward. Personal struggles and family heartbreak. Behind the success and spotlight, Vince's personal life has seen its share of heartbreak. His first marriage to singer Janice Oliver ended after 17 years, leaving him emotionally drained. Their daughter Jenny followed in his musical footsteps and performed alongside him, but the divorce took a toll on the family. In 2000, Vince found love again with singer Amy Grant, a celebrated Christian and pop artist. Their marriage blended two powerful musical worlds and gave them a daughter, Karina, but life would test them again. In July 2022, Amy suffered a serious bike accident in Nashville. She was hospitalized with injuries that could have been far worse had she not been wearing a helmet. Vince, ever the devoted husband, paused his schedule to care for her, later telling fans how grateful he was that she survived. "My bride Amy is doing fine," he reassured fans at the Ryman Auditorium, his voice filled with both relief and love. The song that came from pain, one of Vince's most emotional songs, Go Rest High on That Mountain, has touched millions of hearts, but few know the depth of pain behind it. He began writing the song in 1989 after the death of fellow country singer Keith Whitley, but he didn't finish it until 1993 when tragedy struck his own family. His half-brother Bob Cohen died of a heart attack at just 48. Their bond was deep. Bob had introduced Vince to music and encouraged him to play guitar, but Bob's life had been marked by tragedy. As a young man, he was involved in a devastating car accident that left him with permanent brain injuries. Years later, he fell into homelessness and hardship before returning home to live with their mother, where he eventually passed away. The grief of losing Bob broke Vince's heart. He poured that sorrow into Go Rest High on That Mountain. The song became a timeless anthem of mourning and hope, one that continues to comfort people at funerals, memorials, and moments of loss around the world. Vince has said that every time he sings it, he feels his brother's presence. Giving back, the kindness of Vince Gill. Despite his fame, Vince Gill has always been known as one of the kindest souls in Nashville. He's been called the nicest guy in country music, a title he's more than earned. Beyond his music, Vince has dedicated much of his life to helping others. He founded the Vince Gill Pro Celebrity Golf Invitational in 1993, raising millions for children's charities across Tennessee. After the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, he organized benefit concerts to support the victims' families and the American Red Cross. He supported over 60 charitable causes and helped fund the Country Music Hall of Fame's All for the Hall concert series. Vince's compassion is not performative. It's deeply personal. He once said his charity work was inspired by memories of his brother Bob and by seeing the faces of people who needed help. "I see my brother in them," he said. "That's where my drive comes from." The voice of grace and resilience. Today, Vince Gill stands as a pillar of grace in an industry that often prizes fame over soul. He continues to perform, to mentor younger artists, and to speak up about the direction of country music, calling for more storytelling, diversity, and emotional depth. His honesty about faith, loss, and resilience makes him more than a legend. It makes him human. In a career spanning over 5 decades, Vince Gill has earned every accolade. But what truly defines him is not the 22 Grammys or the platinum records. It's the humility, compassion, and heart he carries through every note. His journey reminds us that behind every melody lies a story of endurance, love, and healing. So when you hear Go Rest High on That Mountain or see Vince smile through a heartfelt performance, remember, it's not just music you're hearing. It's the sound of a man who's lived through loss, found grace in grief, and turned pain into beauty that will last forever.